Here's your paycheck.
Oh, yeah, my first paycheck. All right. What the? I earned $2,100, but I'm only taking home $1,600. What gives?
Yeah, I get that a lot. You're expecting something a little bigger, huh?
What? Who's talking?
It's me, down here.
Huh?
There's a reason your take-home pay isn't higher. Taxes.
Man, I hate taxes.
Hold on there, big guy. Just like I'm your income, taxes make up the government's income. Without taxes, our government couldn't provide services that people want and need.
Yeah, but where do all my taxes go?
Funny you should ask. If you got a minute, I'll tell you the story of your federal taxes.
Yeah, geez, sounds thrilling. But bummer, I've got that combo colonoscopy root canal.
Sit down and listen. Did you know that the U.S. federal budget is more than $3 trillion? How the government raises the funds to pay the bills and thinks about spending affects you directly. Let's start by looking at my stub.
Okay.
First, here's your FICA, or payroll taxes. They're collected from both you and your employer, and they pay for things like earned benefits. They flow into a pot of money called trust funds. Now, let's look at your federal income taxes. They go into a much larger pot of money called the federal fund. Between your FICA taxes and income taxes, folks like you are the government's main bill payers. Now let's talk about borrowing. When the government spends more than it takes in, it has to borrow. Borrowing, the deficit, is larger when the economy is bad. More people are unemployed and paying fewer taxes, and there's more need for government services. Borrowed money contributes to the federal fund as well. That's the government's income in a nutshell.
But what does all that money buy?
Now, my friend, that's the trillion-dollar question. In 2013, the government will spend more than $3.7 trillion broken out into three chunks: mandatory, discretionary, and interest on our national debt. Remember those FICA taxes you paid? They go to trust funds, which help pay for mandatory spending that's required by law. For example, Social Security and Medicare. Everyone over 62 is eligible for this support. A big portion of federal funds, that is your federal income taxes, goes to discretionary spending that happens at the discretion of the president and Congress every single year. One discretionary item, for example, is the military. 57% of all discretionary spending goes to fund the military. Now, look down here. 6% of discretionary spending goes to education for things like Head Start and community colleges and Pell Grants. Discretionary spending plus mandatory spending plus interest we have to pay on our national debt equal all federal spending. But the story doesn't end there. States and cities and towns count on a sizable chunk of this federal money. People like you also get money from the federal government when you need it, in the form of support like unemployment and disability insurance. In 2010, folks in Colorado received an average of $4,081 each. Any questions?
Yeah, but what does any of it do for me?
Really? Just a few things like making sure you breathe clean air and drink good water, making sure all people have access to affordable housing, funding for your favorite national park, cancer research, and elder services.